cannot fucking wait in 2 decades what our political climate's going to look like, because our generation and Generation Alpha, they're going to run with the baton.
Yeah, the millennials started it, and then we just continued it, and now the next generation, like, we're all, like, in this to, like, see what's really
We're going to overthrow so much shit, and I think we're seeing it on social media. That's the cool thing. Hello and welcome to Free My Pride podcast. I am Brendan.
I'm Grayson.
Today we are going to talk about something we are all attuned to. Is that a word?
Yeah, I think it is.
Okay.
It is today.
Sure. We are going to be talking about social media. Now, I know you're probably asking, what's social media?
Right? Where did that come from? Is that a new word too?
Social media is kind of like the aunt at the family reunion that gives you a hug for way too long. It's a support system that no one wants. It's your least favorite child.
You're required to love it.
It's the Robin to your Batman.
Yeah, it's all of our downfall.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Social media is praying for your downfall.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We are going to talk about a multitude of things. It's going to be a jam-packed episode. Grayson, what platforms of social media do you use on a daily basis?
For me personally, I use Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter.
Do you consider Snapchat
sure.
social media platform?
Yeah.
I am also a Facebook junkie.
Yeah.
Sorry. Not sorry.
Nobody can beat that marketplace. I'm just saying.
I tell you fucking what. Facebook is the new
sometimes you're on
plastic
it
surgery.
And you're like, am I even on Facebook? Like, sometimes I just forget that I'm on Facebook and I'm like, oh, I thought I was on TikTok.
I don't, because I'm on Facebook all the fucking time. So Facebook is one of my favorites. Instagram, Snapchat, and I'm sorry, I'm a nerd. LinkedIn. I'm on LinkedIn quite often. I don't post.
You do spend a lot of time on LinkedIn.
I don't know why.
There's not a lot on my LinkedIn.
The content that I interact with sucks, but I'm still on it, and I still scroll. I don't know why. But I don't have a TikTok. That is one of the only things that I have going for me these days.
At this point, you're too late in the game.
Too late. Montana's banning it.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah,
In 2024, Montana's banning TikTok.
There was all kinds of talk about it being, like, deleted off the face of the planet, and I was like, well, we survived Vine's crash, so I think we can all survive TikTok's crash.
You know that TikTok has more of a hold on our society than Vine did. I've been trying to be really cognizant of what content I'm interacting with on social media. I spend way too much time on it, as we all do. But I also have been trying to be cognizant about, like, which platforms I'm using and when. Like, no one's Snapchatting me. Why am I checking Snapchat 10 times a day? No, I don't get any Snapchats.
It's so weird because every single one of these social media platforms have all, like, started this reel thing, you know? And so, like, it's addictive. You just get caught up in one of those. It's like a spider web of just all of this shit. And the more, like, you watch one of the kind of videos, like, if you get interested in one of the videos, they just keep posting, like, they keep showing that style of video, so then you're just on there forever.
Instagram has really taken up a lot of my time lately. Facebook I use for, I'm interested to hear what you use, but I use Facebook for Marketplace, like you said. I love to look at used things, so Marketplace a lot, but I also like to scroll Facebook for, like, family. Like, a lot of my family's on Facebook. Honestly, I get a lot of my news from Facebook. That's where I get my news, because Twitter's dead. Not that I was never really on Twitter, so I've always used kind of Facebook as my go-to, like, for something's going on. Instagram I use for reels. I don't really like to scroll on static posts on Instagram, but I like to view reels, which is the same as TikTok. Snapchat, again, like I said, I don't know why I check it. I don't even know why I have it. No one is Snapchatting me. And then LinkedIn, honestly, I feel like I have to have a presence on LinkedIn for some reason, even though I'm not posting a lot. I just feel like professionally it's required of me. But I've been really toying with deleting LinkedIn now.
There's this weird obligation to LinkedIn as like in this like professional world. There's like this weird obligation to like be on LinkedIn. Everybody asks you, what's your LinkedIn like handle or whatever? I'm like, I don't fucking know. Like, just search my name.
I know, it's crazy. It's crazy that I have to have a resume and a portfolio site, and then I have to send you my LinkedIn, and all of them have to be updated.
Yeah. Who has time to update all of those all the time?
It's crazy.
Also, like, what is LinkedIn? It's like Facebook.
Take me through your platforms and what you use them for.
Okay, so TikTok, really just to kill time, and also maybe learn how to do something. I don't know why. It seems like you're constantly learning stuff on there. I've had it to where I've had to like fix shit and like a toilet or something like that, and I just search in TikTok like how to fix a toilet. Because I'm not trying to watch a YouTube video, and you know how they always do that stuff at the beginning where they're like, oh, hi, I'm so-and-so from so-and-so, and I'm like, I don't care about that. YouTube, or not YouTube, that's not a social media, is it?
I think it should be considered a social media platform because I spend most of my day on YouTube.
All right, well, we'll group that one in there too, because I mean, it is just social media. It really is.
I don't know, but I'm spending 12 hours plus a day on social media, and you think I'm fucking joking, I'm fucking not. I don't care what I'm doing. I'm folding laundry. I'm unloading dishes. I'm working. You better bet your top dollar I am watching YouTube. Sorry.
I don't watch YouTube as much. I used to watch it like probably just the same amount. Now it's like TikTok. I just don't have the attention span anymore.
Yes, short form content. Okay, I cut you off.
No, you're good. Facebook, I just use Marketplace really. And also, weirdly enough, I've been really, really interested in I've been like following pages now. And like, I know that's always been there, but like just recently I've actually gotten into it. And so now I follow I'm in all of these groups.
Yep.
Where like, I'm in a group and it's, did you see the 12-foot skeletons that come out around Halloween? Okay, I'm in a group with that.
Just so niche.
12-foot skeletons in Indiana. Abandoned places in Indiana.
I tell you, old houses, that's all I share.
Unique furniture in Indiana.
The content, the groups that Facebook tells me to follow, it's like redneck bears in Indiana. And it's just like pictures of two like big, burly, scruffy guys like hugging.
No.
It's basically just like two Brillo pads of men like writhing on social media. That's what Facebook tells me to follow. It's like gay camping in Indiana. I'm like, I don't know what sort of bathhouses you think I go to, but like this feels targeted, Mark Zuckerberg.
Yeah, it must be because like mine are like, no, I just followed one the other day, like hiking in Indiana. Not gay hiking in Indiana though.
No, my shit's gotta be gay.
What kind of... Okay.
I'm not searching that, I promise. I would tell you.
I don't know.
Instagram, different story. Facebook,
well,
no.
The algorithms are pulled from every social media. Like, Instagram's got its hands on Facebook.
I mean, they're both meta.
That's what I mean, is if you're looking at something on Instagram, it's going to Facebook.
I tell you what, though.
Maybe you are looking at those Brillo pads.
Not. I mean, sometimes. Depends what mood I'm in. But, geez. Okay, yet again. Go ahead. So, yeah, the Facebook is just basically, like, I guess in those groups now. I also really like looking at, like, mid-century modern houses. So, like, I guess I'm in weird Zillow finds. Yes. I don't know. All that on Facebook. Instagram is where I go to if I want to feel really bad about myself. Oh, okay. If I'm, like, I really want to look at really cool tech for some reason, a lot of tech shows up on my, like, For You page on Instagram. It's, like, people unboxing, like, MacBooks. Just people doing really cool shit, you know? Like, going and, like, skydiving and shit. And I'm, like, sitting there watching. I'm like, good for you, man. I will never do that. I also feel like Instagram is, like, so aesthetically pleasing. Yes. The content that we're seeing on Instagram is so creative. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. You go on there, you feel like shit about yourself. You're like, I could be doing this. Yeah. But you don't. Yeah, I'm just sitting there watching it. No matter how much I try to set my Instagram up like that, it'll never be that way. Yeah, and then I feel really bad about myself when I open the front-facing camera and I'm, like, looking at myself while I'm scrolling Instagram and I've got, like, 12 chins. I'm, like, on my back. I'm, like, inverted.
covered in Cheeto dust. It's fine.
I'm like hanging from the ceiling. I don't know. Like
What?
just, I'm like in the bathtub with no water, like all my clothes on, just watching reels.
You just wake up and you realize you're like, huh, I am in the bathtub.
I'm like,
That's weird.
wait, I'm in the dryer. No, but I do. I feel
not
like
again.
Instagram is like a hole.
Yeah.
Like it's just like not a glory hole, just like a hole
I
that
don't
you.
know. There's sides of it.
True.
There's sides of
Probably one of my Facebook groups.
probably glory holes in Indiana.
There are some.
Is that experience?
No, I would tell you no, it's not.
I just want to know which side of the hole you're on.
Instagram is just very. I don't know, and I've not used TikTok, but I feel like Instagram, yeah, is very much that aesthetically pleasing. It's just well curated.
It's like I feel like anymore I don't even like use social media to like see what people I know are doing.
That's so true. Because that is so true because that's what social media was created for.
Yeah, to connect with people you know, but now it's just like me looking at people I don't know. I pretty much have unfollowed most of the people that I do now.
That's so funny that you said that. That's crazy. It's gotten so far away from that. Like, we are pretty much only interacting with people we don't know.
Yeah. And it's not even really interacting anymore. It's not like you're commenting on there. It's not like you're posting stuff. It's just you looking at other people doing this shit.
And shit you're not even interested in.
No.
Like, I don't give a flying fuck about half the stuff I'm watching or interacting with.
Have you seen like the dead content where it's literally just like somebody like voiceover talking and then somebody's doing something that's like kind of satisfying? So
yeah.
you're like really in this. You want to see the end results of like whatever this person is building, but at the same time you want to hear the end of this story. Like you're just all in it.
I mean, that just gets you kind of into curated content, which is the content that is made just for me. Like, my feed is only the stuff that like I've been interested in and watching. I can sit there and watch someone clean the dirtiest rug for at least an hour and a half
The rugs. Yes, I've seen what you're talking about.
with no music, no words, no sounds.
It's so interesting.
I can watch someone clean a horse's hoof for approximately 3 hours.
Jenna's really into the horse hoofs one. Like she likes watching them like trim the horse hoof and like put the new like horseshoe on there.
No, that is how you turn me on.
That's pulling at the heartstrings there.
Yeah, that's pulling it more than heartstrings.
Oh god.
It's just so crazy that like content that I'm interacting with and how a lot of the times I'll just be talking about something and it'll pull it up on my feed like the ads.
Jenna and I talk about this all the time too, is like we'll be sitting there talking about something, we'll be like, man, I really want to go to like the Netherlands, and then it'll just pull up like visit the Netherlands, and I'm like,
crazy.
People are always like, oh, they're listening to us, and for a long time I thought they were crazy, but I'm like, you know what? I wouldn't be surprised.
No, they're so listening. I mean, your TV's probably listening to us right now. But guess what?
That TV's seen some shit then.
I don't care.
I don't
care.
Yeah, if you have interest in listening to me, my life is not that interesting.
Go ahead. Some of the stuff that comes up on my curated feed, I'm like, I don't know how this got here, but I'm glad it did.
I don't know what drove us to this point, but...
Thank you.
Yeah.
You're a savior.
More of this, please.
Thank you, Mark Zuckerberg. Like, what kind of content do you typically interact with? Like, we talked about, like, the rugs or, you know, the horse hooves or...
It changes, really. 90% of my content right now is design. It's
like what type of design?
It's learning tricks on Illustrator and Photoshop for some reason. I guess I got down a rabbit hole one day and now it has not shifted because it's hard because it doesn't shift if you continue to watch the videos.
Yeah.
I do a lot of like saving it and coming back to it later now because I'm like, I don't want to sit there and watch the whole video.
Yeah.
But I never go back to it. But that's mostly where my stuff is right now. But I watch a lot of like car related. That's embarrassing. I don't want to be like a car guy because I'm not. But I will always sit there and watch somebody work on a car or like build a car. I don't know why.
I interact with a lot of comedy stuff, like just people falling down, people eating shit, just like
literal shit.
no, like falling, and you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I also love a good singing video.
No.
Yes, I love to just
Like what kind of singing video? Like real, like people really sitting there singing, or
Yes.
like horrible singing?
no, like people actually being pretty good at singing. Like there's people who will just go to a parking garage, an empty parking garage, and just fucking belt the shit out of a note.
I really don't know why, but those videos make me cringe.
I could sit there and watch a million of them. I want them to sing the whole song, and I get pissed off when they end.
You know what makes me mad? Like this is a really, really big pet peeve that I have, is those ASMR videos.
You don't like them?
Specifically the noise ones, like where they have like the microphone covered up and they're like talking into it or like whispering. I hate whispering in a microphone. I get so mad that the hair on the back of my neck stands up.
I hate it. I can't do it.
I can't watch people eat,
I've had it.
like chewing into a mic.
I have had it.
And like I think that maybe my feed knows it now because I've like went on there so many times. Every time one of those videos pops up, there's like a button you can push on there that say like, do not show me this again.
Yep.
I do that every single time.
Every time. ASMR is not for me.
I hate it. Like those satisfying videos, I will sit there and watch them all day. But when it comes to the noise, I just can't.
It's also interesting how people interact with social media. In my past, I was really consumed with like how I was perceived on social media. Like there was one point where I had like 3,000 followers on Instagram and I thought I was hot shit in high school. Like I made sure that like I could not get less than like 300 likes on a post. And now I'm getting like 7 and I'm like, okay, I don't give a fuck.
A lot of your pride and like insecurities were like hung up in that too. I feel like not just yours, just in general.
you're like, you shouldn't have been prideful.
Honestly,
I saw the content you were posting.
I give you shit about that all the time. The tank tops,
The
like,
shirtless photos.
the muscle pics.
Although I am glad I took them because like I don't have it now.
What do you mean?
I don't have a 6-pack anymore. Like I don't have the body I once did, which is fine. Like I'm cool with it. But
Did you have one then?
yes, I was ripped.
I haven't looked at your shirtless pics. I'm sorry.
I'll send them to you. No. No, but I'm just saying, I'm glad I logged what I did, I guess. Like, in that aspect, like, I am glad that maybe I spent more time on posting on social media because I have a lot of memories that I can go back and look on.
It probably seemed so conceited at the time. Like, we all did it.
It was, and it still is so conceited. Like, I don't give a flying fuck whose birthday it is.
Yeah.
I don't care who you went to brunch with last Sunday.
Yeah, but if that picture is, like, aesthetically pleasing, like, I don't know.
But
That's basically the only time I'll look at people's posts that I know is if it's, like, they're, like, post a picture of a place, then I'm like, oh, that looks like that's good food. I'd like to go there. But if they don't post the place, I'm like, I'm not liking this photo.
How do you feel like almost you're perceived on social media, or how do you, like, try to make yourself perceived?
Anymore, I don't really try to make myself perceived in any way. I don't know why, but a while back, like, I just deleted all of my shit on my social media. Like, when I say social media, I really just mean Instagram, because I feel like that's the one that people try to, like, make people perceive them in a certain way the most. Facebook, it's like, you can't really change anything.
Because it's full of old people.
Yeah, because it's full of old people, and it's like, what are you gonna go back to 2000, like, scroll back to 2012
Yeah.
and, like, delete all of your shit? No. But, like, I just deleted all of it, and I was like, I don't really care about any of this stuff anymore. Like, I don't care if I get a bunch of likes. I don't really care about any of that. So I like the new feature that they put on there where they, like, hide the amount of likes that you got. I'm like, I don't care if people know how many likes I got or how many I don't have. When I was younger, like, when I was in, like, early high school, middle school era, that's when I was trying to get people to, like, look at my Instagram, and I did the same thing with, like, trying to get a bunch of followers, posting photos and shit all the time. I thought I was hot shit back then too.
Why do you feel like you've gotten away from that? Do you think it's been a healthier thing for you?
Yes and no, to be honest. Like, maybe I'm just more insecure now and I'm not, like, I don't feel like I'm hot shit anymore. Also, like, I think it was good for me because my insecurities were relieved from people liking my status or my photos or, like...
You felt appreciated.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, well, for me, when I was single, when I was, like, on my social media phase and, like, started thinking that I was hot shit and, like, thought that people cared about me, it was a lot of the same reason that, like, I would go, like, hook up with people or would be on apps like Tinder or Grindr, Hot or Not, and shit like that.
I feel like, yeah, it made you feel a lot more attractive.
I wanted people to tell me that my life was interesting.
Yeah.
I wanted people to tell me that I was cute. I wanted people to tell me that I was hot. I wanted, like, people to be interested in me, which was so unhealthy.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess that's what I was trying to say, is, like, not relying on other people to, like, feel good about myself. That's good for me, but at the same time, like, yeah, I think I stopped posting as much just because I didn't feel as good about myself.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting, like, when you get more gratification from, like, followers or, like, people that aren't physically there, it actually makes you feel worse about yourself. Like, I would get so much dopamine by someone commenting on my post, like, take time to comment on my post, but then I was like, oh my gosh, they don't care.
Yeah.
They don't care.
They're just looking at your photo because they think you're attractive, and, like, that's not really a healthy...
It's so superficial.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, if you really think about it, that's not really good for anybody.
It's so surface level.
And, like, I guess now that's one of the reasons I don't really care how people perceive me. I don't really care how I look on social media. I mean, maybe as a designer, I wish that my photos and my stuff were like, more aesthetic like they are able to make them. But that's not really so much as how I'm perceived. It's just, it's, for me, I would like it to look better. Cleaner.
But also it's because, like, now that's how you promote yourself. If you're in the space that you're in, like, that's how you gain an audience base.
Yeah, and I mean, not for everybody. It doesn't really matter to them, I guess, like, for their careers and stuff. For our careers, I feel like it's better for us to have, like, a better looking profile.
It's almost required.
Yeah, which I don't put any effort into mine. Do you?
No, I don't care. I'm in a much healthier place with social media than I have been in the past because I don't care anymore.
I think originally, like, I was spending, no matter what, we've been spending too much time with social media our entire life. At that point, it didn't feel like we were spending a lot of time with social media because we weren't on it as much. I spend hours and hours on social media now, but it's not posting my own stuff. It's not spending time on myself. It's not taking, like, a bunch of photos of myself, but it's, like, looking at other people's stuff.
Which would some argue is healthier because you're not
stressing yourself out with how you look all the time, or, like,
you're not being hard on yourself.
Yeah.
You know, like, I would find myself sometimes, like, if I didn't get enough likes, like, I would take the photo down and then get extremely upset and hard on myself. And this is really harsh, but, like, sometimes to the point of self-harm. Like, take it out on myself because I wasn't good enough for social media. Or, like, what I posted or commented or whatever wasn't as impactful as I wanted it to be.
And it's crazy too because, like you said, you had like 3,000 followers. I'm sure you didn't know 3,000 people at the time, so you probably didn't even know half those people.
No.
And you're just, like, letting this, and you're just letting this completely impact, like, everything.
Yeah, it would impact how my day was.
Yeah.
Like, if I woke up and, like, didn't get enough likes, or if I woke up and, like, it's not necessarily social media, but, like, if I woke up and, like, didn't get a certain amount of texts from people caring about me, or in my case, it was Hot or Not messages or Tinder messages.
Yeah.
Like, I would have a terrible day.
It's weird at that time. Yeah. It was like you were looked at as, like, you weren't important if you didn't have all of those, like, people that were constantly, like, basically trying to sleep with you.
And now it's just a completely different landscape because everyone is on every platform. And it's hard because we were the first generation to have social media raise us. And because we are at the very beginning of our generation, which is Gen Z, were really at the helm of that. Like, we've seen it through. Like, you would argue that the end generation of millennials would probably be also at the helm of that. You know, we're kind of on the cusp with like MySpace being, you know, the first kind of major platform.
Did you ever have a MySpace?
No, I never had a MySpace.
I didn't either.
My mom didn't let me.
Jenna had one. I didn't even, like, it wasn't even remotely a thing when people started using social media, because people didn't really start using social media when I was a kid until, like, I mean, it was still like elementary school, but we weren't talking about like MySpace. It was always like Facebook.
Well, we always had a babysitter in the evening, and she would always scroll on MySpace.
I'm so glad I didn't have a MySpace. Those were embarrassing. Could you imagine?
Crazy. Well, I mean, my beginning Facebook is so embarrassing. Facebook was the first platform that I had.
Yeah, same.
I still get Facebook timeline memories.
They need to delete that feature because I'm
posting about God. I'm posting about
Yes.
not being gay.
Yes, you're like looking at these old posts and you're like, there's no way I said that. I don't remember saying that.
I'm posting about rating people on a scale.
Yes, those weird, like...
It was like on a scale of 1 to 10, comment the person you want me to rate and I'll post it on your profile.
Yeah. I never did the rating system, I don't think. God, I hope not. But I was always like the one that people were like also rating. I was like upset if I wasn't getting rated.
And I know I said it, but like we were the first generation to like have to go through cyberbullying. It's impacted my mental health a lot. It just made me not feel good about myself, like specifically in high school. Like we kind of said, it just, although at the time it made me feel like I was wanted, I was
Yeah, you felt on top of the world at that point.
But looking back on it, it actually made me feel the opposite.
Yeah.
Like retrospectively, it was like, holy shit. It actually made me feel like I was worth nothing.
Yeah.
Because you get no gratification from people you don't know. Mm-hmm. And when you're posting on social media, there's like an external facing component to it. I notice a lot of the times nowadays that I don't care if someone wishes me a happy birthday on Facebook.
Yeah, I honestly prefer you don't.
If you text me, I know you care because you're taking the time. But if you're posting on Facebook, you're caring about your audience knowing that you're wishing me a happy birthday.
Which is weird to me, and it's only really older people who care about that. I'm like, why didn't you, like, pick up the phone and call me? Or why didn't you text me? Like, why post on this? Yeah. I don't understand that.
I mean, it definitely shows people's true colors for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you think social media has impacted your mental health? Now or back then?
Back then, it was horrible because, like you said, I relied heavily on people like giving me compliments and stuff to feel good about myself. Like I felt like I was ugly unless people were like telling me that I was attractive on social media, which isn't healthy. Now I feel like it just takes up way too much of my time. Like I need to spend less time on there. I feel like I'm not getting anything done because I just sit around and like watch videos and shit. I mean,
yeah, I feel like in high school, social media was making me depressed, and obviously there was a multitude of things that were concocting my depression. But social media just amplified my depression. But nowadays, it's just making me anxious.
Yes. Always feel like you have like some sort of new strand of disease or some shit like that. They're like, oh, be careful because this strand of like gonorrhea is going around. And then I'm like, oh my God, what if I have that? And I'm like, how the fuck would I get gonorrhea? Like, I don't.
But not only that, but it's becoming a news platform and like a news sharing resource. Like that's how people are learning about their news.
Yeah, which isn't healthy because a lot of it is fabricated.
Everyone is so much more knowledgeable because of social media, which some would argue me on. We are interacting with so much content that it makes me overwhelmed and anxious.
Yeah.
Like I don't like politics. Why am I being overwhelmed with all of these political resources and content?
And you feel almost like obligated to know some of this stuff. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, you're like, that's popular, that's trending, I should have to watch it.
Well, and people get on there and they act like everybody should know this information. They're like, well, obviously you know this. And I'm like, I didn't know that.
So then you look it up on TikTok, you look it up on Twitter, you look it up on Google. Our generation is doing all of this almost research.
All the time.
And I mean, we are becoming much more, I don't think intelligent is the word, but just more
Aware.
Yeah, aware, conscious of what we're dealing with in our society.
I think some people don't do their homework on it though, and that's the crazy one, is like where people will be like, oh, well, there's this law that says like this is legal if I do this, and so then they'll just go do it, and of course they'll get like either arrested or they'll get like, you know, a fine or something like that, and they'll be like, TikTok told me that I could, you know. And I'm like, well, did you do your homework on it? Like, there's this trend now where people are putting eggs in the microwave and watching them explode. I'm like, that's been a thing forever. Why is this happening again?
Yeah, but like you were talking about earlier, like you're able to look things up and become more knowledgeable on stuff. Like
that's
you
what
said
I'm
you
saying.
were,
You should be able to know that an egg is going to explode in the microwave. Look it up on Google. You don't need to make a mess.
right, but for your like car, you said you were interacting with a lot of car content. Like
Yeah.
you're learning a lot about stuff like that. Like trust me, I could clean a rug and I could trim a horse's nails.
Dude, that's the problem with social media. It makes you think you could do all of this stuff. In reality,
I can.
And you cannot.
I can.
In reality, you would not be able to trim that horse hoof.
Yes, I would.
I promise you, just because you know the steps, it's a lot harder than it looks.
No, I know I could not. But it's interesting that, like, almost sort of ego that you get from social media.
That's what I'm saying, is people, like, going up to a police officer being like, I can do this if I want to. Like, you get this, like, hothead about it, like, I know my rights. You know, in reality, that may be true. It may be true that that is legal, and it may be true that you are within your rights to do that, but it doesn't mean that you're not going to get in trouble for it, you know?
But then again, it's just making people so much more aware of different things.
Yeah, it's a good thing and a bad thing, to be honest. Like, being more aware of things, you know, it is nice, and it probably is better for people to... It's better for people to be more aware about stuff, but at the same time, it's sometimes it's depressing, like being super aware.
It leads to a lot of anxiety for me. Like, I feel a societal obligation to be knowledgeable about every topic. It's overwhelming. That's what I'm saying. It's like anxiety riddling.
It's a good thing because people do need to be aware.
But that's why we're seeing, like, what's the generation after us called? Or are the kids being today still being born Gen Z?
No, they ended Gen Z. It's Generation Alpha. Okay, what? That's such a cool
cooler name.
I wish I was in Generation Alpha.
The end of Generation Z, or Generation Gen Z and Generation Alpha, is that, like, they're like activists and advocates. I get so frustrated, and this is off topic, but I get so frustrated with the politics these days.
Yeah.
But I'm like, them bitches are gonna die soon. I cannot fucking wait in 2 decades what our political climate's gonna look like, because our generation and Generation Alpha, they're gonna run with the baton.
Yeah, the millennials started it, and then we just continued it, and now the next generation, like, we're all like in this to like see what's really.
We're gonna overthrow so much shit, and I think we're seeing it on social media. That's the cool thing. I feel like social media is there. Like, if we could reflect the progressiveness and the, like,
it's got to be like, when the politicians are on there, the ones on, you know, especially the right-wing politicians, are on there, like, looking at this shit, it's got to be scary to them to see like the generations to be like,
it should be
so knowledgeable and like
knowing shit they don't know.
We're coming for you, kind of thing. Yeah, because I get people on there and they're like just listing off all of this shit. They're just like peeling a banana, like making themselves a smoothie, and just listing off all of the ways that the entire like political scale could just crumble. And I'm just like, all right, I didn't know all that shit, but like, I'm glad you do.
Really, that's the only thing that keeps me going these days, because I get, like I said, I have said a million times, I get so overwhelmed by all of the shit that I see on social media. That is the only thing that keeps me going, is like me, that's so ravening into the future.
Yeah, that's like what we were talking about in the last episode, of just talking about that hopeful, waiting for the future kind of thing. Is like, we're excited to see this happen. We're excited to see some change. I mean, we are part of the change, so we're all going to have to jump on board. So
And we're not being able to make the change right now because our voices aren't heard in the government. But like I said, them bitches are gonna die. And you know what?
It just sucks that we all have to sit around and wait for them to fucking die, though. Our government has structured it in such a way to where we have no other choice but to just sit there and wait and wait and wait.
Yeah, but that's the only thing that keeps me hopeful.
Is knowing that they're not gonna have a choice but to let, millennials, Gen Z, Generation Alpha in there.
Unfortunately, social media has led into another form of addiction. Like we've said, like it's running our lives. Social media is, it's so unhealthy for me to be sitting on my phone for 3 hours watching Instagram Reels.
It is. You get to see a lot of cool stuff. But like, what else am I going to be doing, to be honest? Like, I try to think about that all the time. I'm like, I could be doing so many other things than sitting here on my phone, but I'm like, what am I going to be doing? Like, what should I be doing? I'm like, probably should mow the grass, but like, how is that going to get me any further in life than sitting here, watching TikToks?
Going outside is so healthy.
Is it?
Sitting in there on your phone is not.
Okay, going outside and doing what is so healthy?
Nothing.
What?
Letting the sun hit your skin.
I let the sun hit my skin and I'm still on my phone.
You know that there's days that you do not go outside.
There are probably days, yes, there are days that I don't go outside.
Exactly.
I don't think I've been outside today.
It is just such unhealthy behavior to just sit there on your phone. It's not even about just like being able to get other things done. It's about like your brain and you sitting there staring at a screen for hours, sitting in a singular place for hours.
It's probably like for a lot of us, it's probably like a way of distraction, like keeping ourselves from thinking about things, which is kind of crazy because like, I don't know about you, but when I'm watching those things, all I'm thinking about is things. Like that's the stuff that makes me like anxious. Like I watch these videos to feel less anxious, but then I end up feeling more anxious, but about something else.
Right. It makes my brain think about a million different things and makes me more anxious sitting there on my phone.
Yeah.
Although it may feel like I'm not doing anything, I'm actually doing probably more. My brain's actually working harder than it would be if I were to do something else.
I think it definitely should be more normalized to like limit screen time for yourself, Screen
time, notifications, how many times you pick up your phone or pick up and open an app. Like, do you know how many times a day that I pick up Facebook or I click on the Facebook app and then literally look at the opening screen, not even take in any content, and then remove it?
It's so weird because like I just remember like my grandparents and like my parents just sitting there like not really doing much of anything, just either talking or like they would just like go sit out by a fire and stuff like that and not do anything. But I feel like our entire generation has to constantly be doing something, like twiddling their thumbs, like playing a game on their phone, like scrolling through social media. We're unable to like sit still.
It's so addictive. Why?
I don't know.
It's a screen.
It is, but it brings so much joy in that moment.
It doesn't bring me any joy. It doesn't bring me any joy.
You're right. It doesn't bring a lot of joy, but it just provides something to do in that moment. Like, I remember being on the plane ride, just sitting there playing, like, a game on my phone for, like, 3 hours. I got nothing from that game, and that game really provided nothing for me. I mean, even if I got the coolest, like, the best score on the game, I still would feel nothing from it.
It's crazy how much it's taken a toll on our society. Like,
it's, like, desensitized a lot of us, too. Like, not being shocked by a lot of things anymore. Every time you hear about something that should probably really, really, like, impact everybody, they're just like, okay.
It's because most of us have already heard it before from past interactions on social media.
Well, remember in middle school when we were like, there was that guy that was being beheaded on Facebook. How is a generation that's grown up like watching beheading videos not going to become desensitized from?
Well, it's like Logan Paul in that video that he went viral. Was it Logan Paul? It was Logan Paul. In that video where I think he was in China.
Oh, the
Suicide Forest?
That's right. Yeah. Who does that?
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
It's leading people to crazy shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, generations and generations, like, our generation is so much more anxious than the past, and depressed, and mental illness is only becoming more and more widespread. That's because of social media. I truly believe that.
Just not as hopeful. But I don't know. I think that people need to be more aware about things. I think it's like a double-edged sword because
Yep.
we're all more knowledgeable. We're all more aware. People can't hide things as well anymore. If people are pieces of shit, everybody's going to know it. And honestly, they deserve that. At the same time, like, we're just all like...
Sad.
Yeah, sad.
I don't know what the solution is. I don't, there's got to be a happy medium. There's got to be a solution that these tech companies can enable that are making us less addictive. Obviously, they're never going to do that because it's capitalism and they want us to use our phones more. But it is just taking a hold of our society and myself. Like, every day I think about, let me just delete all of the social media apps from my phone and only use social media when I'm on my computer.
Can you imagine?
A lot of people do that, though. Like, not a lot.
What would you do with your day?
Some people do that, though. Like, some people will only use social media on their computer because the task of getting up, having to go get your computer to get on social media, you're not going to do that, you know? The reason you do it is because the phone's right next to you.
You'd rather get up and go do something else, to be honest, than
right.
go grab
So when
your
you've
laptop.
got that barrier, it helps. But
it's not as personal as well. Like, sitting there with a laptop in front of you versus sitting there with a phone, like, you're holding that in your hand. I don't know. It's just it's a different feeling.
Most of our phones are sitting right next to us at our bed.
Yeah.
So we're just gonna grab it. Like,
that's another thing. None of us sleep anymore.
No.
You're the only person I know that actually sleeps.
Not the past 4 weeks. It's been weird. That's a side topic, but I've not been sleeping.
Nobody does anymore.
I don't know what the solution is. I don't know how we move forward because these tech companies are never going to make it better. They're only wanting us to interact with it more.
I think what's most important that we can individually do is make that time for ourselves. Like, pick out something that we really enjoy. And I know a lot of people say, like, go outside and stuff, but if that's not what you actually enjoy doing, you don't have to actually do that. But doing stuff with other people, like, even if it is an indoor activity, going, like, playing laser tag or, like, doing those kinds of things where you actually use your physical body and your hands and stuff, doing that kind of stuff instead of, like, sitting in front of a screen, it can be, that could probably solve some of your issues. I really like going on vacations and stuff. I mean, I know that's expensive, but when you are on those vacations, you're not spending that time on your phone.
I will disagree that you should go outside at least once a day. Even if it's going outside, looking up at the sun, and going back inside, you should go outside once a day.
No, I agree. You should go outside, but...
Okay, well, let's end on a positive note. We're all screwed.
That's a good note.
Thanks for listening to Free My Pride podcast.
Have a great day.